In this lesson, you will learn how to graph a line given a point and the slope. Here are some steps to use to graph a line using the slope. Our first step is to plot the given point. From this point on the graph, use the rise of the slope. So we will go up if our slope is positive and go down if our slope is negative. Then we will use the run of the slope and we will run to the right. Repeat so that you have at least 3 points. And lastly, draw the line with a ruler and include arrows. So to recall that slope is the ratio of the vertical change to the horizontal change. So we've seen this ratio of our vertical change to our horizontal change, which is the same as our vertical change would be the same as saying our change in our y. So if you think about your y-axis being your vertical axis and the horizontal axis is your x-axis. So we can also relate this to our rise, so if we're rising up or down, and then our run. So there are some different ways that slope is referred to. So let's try some examples. So if we are given the point -1, -2 with a slope of 1/4. So on our coordinate plane, we are going to start with the ordered pair -1, -2. So our x value is -1, so we are going to go to the left 1 and down 2 to plot our ordered pair. And then we are going to use our slope of 1/4. So our slope is positive, so that tells us that we are going to go up 1 and to the right 4. So from this point on our graph, so starting at the point -1, -2, I'm going to go up 1 and over 4 and make another point. I'm going to do the same thing again, so I'm going to go up 1 and over 4 and make another point. So one other thing to keep in mind is that if you run out of room essentially on a graph, you can always reverse and go down 1 and over 4 the other way and make another point that would also be on the line. So we'll draw our line to connect our points, and notice that when the line is drawn, it goes through the points and arrows at the end. So don't just connect those points and then stop. That line extends on, so please make sure that you extend your line as you draw that. Let's look at another example. So if we have the point -1, 3 with a slope of -2. So on the coordinate plane, I'm going to start at the point -1, 3. So I'm going to go to the left -1, so on our x-axis -1 and up 3 and make the point. And if we have a slope of -2, we don't have a denominator here. So be careful that if you don't have a denominator, that it's not over 0, it's actually over 1. So that's really important to keep in mind if you see a slope that doesn't have a denominator, to go ahead and write that divided by 1 or that ratio there so that you don't assume that it's 0, because we should also recognize that if it's divided by 0, then that would be an undefined line, which would be a vertical line, which wouldn't be the same as having a slope of -2 or whatever that whole number or integer value is. So make sure that you include that denominator of 1. So with the slope of -2, then that means that we are going to go down 2 and then to the right 1. So from this point, I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1 and make another point. And I'll continue again and go down 2 and to the right 1, make another point. And then I have at least 3 points, so I can draw that line to connect those points, extending that line through those points with arrows at the end. Let's look at another example. If we have the point -6, 5 with a slope of -3/2. So on the graph, I'm going to start at the point -6, 5 So on the x-axis, go to -6 and go up 5 to plot that ordered pair. If I have a slope of -3/2, that means that I'm going to be going down 3 and to the right 2. So from that point on the graph, I'm going to go down 3 to the right 2 and make another point. I'll continue and go down 3 to the right 2 and make another point. I will then connect those points and extend my line through those points with arrows at the end. Okay, let's look at another one. If we have the point 2, -4 at the slope of 3. On the coordinate plane, I'll plot the point 2, -4. So on the x-axis, go over 2 and down 4 and make the point there. With a slope of 3, remember that that's the same as 3 over 1. So that means I'm going to be going up 3 into the right 1. So from the point on the coordinate plane, I will go up 3 to the right 1, make a point. Up 3 to the right 1, make a point, and connect those points and draw that line. Just a couple more examples. So if we are given the point 4, 7 with a slope of 0. So we'll start at the point 4, 7 and plot that point. And if we have a slope of 0, that means that's a horizontal line. So it doesn't really matter how many you go to the right or to the left. We can just go over and make a few additional points and then draw that line. Because we know that when we have a slope of 0, that's a horizontal line. That means we're going up 0 and to the right or to the left, an undefined amount. It doesn't specify. Okay, let's look at another one. If we have the point -4, 6 with a slope that is undefined, we plot the point at -4, 6. If we have an undefined line, that means that it's a vertical line. So it doesn't matter how many we rise up or down. We know that we're going to run over 0. So we'll make a few points and draw that line. So now we have worked with graphing using slope.